I'm going to be analysing two films this evening. Both are considered as sword and sandals films, one of which is 2000's Gladiator, directed by Ridley Scott and starring Russell Crowe and Joaquin Phoenix. The other is Zack Snyder's 2006 300, inspired by and massively based on Frank Miller's graphic novel of the same title. This film contains many stars such as Gerard Butler and Michael Fassbender. Firstly, I'm going to begin by analysing this scene in Gladiator. Maximus and the gladiators have just finished the show and are about to be confronted by Emperor Commandus. I believe that this scene stands to show the audience a glorified notable emperor quiver and fear at a once infamous general turned slave, to play on the factor of power in reverse. This is done through many techniques. You can see that the majority of Commandus' shots are dark, portraying that he is the antagonist in this film. In contrast, the shots showing Maximus are a lot more goldish and includes hints of silver, implying greatness and power. Here we can see Maximus pick up an arrowhead in preparation to harm or kill the emperor, but resists as the emperor's son walks in front of him, reminding Maximus of his own child. The position of the gladiators behind Maximus covers the shot in grey, making the assumption for the audience that they are one unit that fight together as brothers. This is touched upon again later in the scene. Although it is difficult to see Maximus's face with his helmet, there are many close-ups between himself and Commandus, which helps the audience understand what's going on through their heads. Such as here, when we can see that Maximus is exhausted and no longer wants to deal with Commandus. And here, as we see his stern, emotionless face showing bravery and a lack of fear. Here we also see colours change. Commandus' face becomes brighter and the gladiators become more grey than silver, showing that in this moment the tables are now how they should be, with Commandus in charge. After this, however, the whole scene slowly brightens as Maximus becomes more powerful. As you can hear, this is when we start to hear the talent of Hans Zimmer, the composer of the film. From here to here, the music is tranquil and quiet, like a calm before the storm. But as Maximus reveals himself, the music becomes more glorious. And epic, and crescendos until the end of this speech. As he starts announcing his titles, it becomes more darker, mirroring Maximus's rage. The line, "I am Maximus Decimus Meridius," honestly didn't think I was going to get that. The line is a homage to the 1960 film Spartacus. This has been proven as the director Ridley Scott has said that he has taken inspiration from the film and he may have included some elements from it. The shot of the gladiators assembling to protect Maximus continues the homage and also extends to the point of unity that I was talking about earlier. I also think that the crowd cheering, chanting and being on Maximus' side is another homage to Spartacus, especially with the chanting. These sets of close-ups are used really well to show the expressions of the faces of the characters. And boom goes the dynamite. And now on to 300. The formation that we see here with the Spartans signify that they are one unit, with the sense that they are standing in all the same way. As Leonidas makes his little speech, the music picks up and becomes more epic, even more so than the Persians, which show how much more powerful the Spartans are. I was actually really struggling to find anything to say about this, to be honest. The music continues, and as there's no decrease in the atmosphere generated by it, this shows that the scene is only going to get bigger and better. The gold lighting shining on the Persians is quite pure and nicer compared to the colours coming off of the Spartans, which is also good, but there are also darker hints and it's a lot more grittier. This could be relevant to their violent combat style. We can see many famous faces in this film. Gerard Butler here as Leonidas, Michael Fassbender, and even Game of Thrones is Lena Headey. Using these characters show that the makers of this film are being serious about what they're doing. These close-ups of swords and spears piercing the skins just adds to the gore of the film, which plays a heavy role throughout. This also goes for the blood and the splattering noises as well. Whilst there is a lot of action and shaky cam going on here, unlike Transformers, the editing and camera work as well as angles help make everything more clearer. Now coming up here you'll hear a clang of swords or something like that, and the rising music. This tells the audience that there's something about to happen, which is pretty awesome. Beast mode, activate. This little sequence here in the scene is the best part of the film for most people. Mainly because it's so artistic in the choreography, the colours that are used, as well as the lighting and the style of editing, with all this slow-mo stuff. We can also hear that the sound travels at the same speed of the action, which is a really good way of connecting the audience to what's happening on screen. Using this allows the audience's senses to all work together well. The zooming outs and the close-ups used here really bring the action to life. If it's simply one continuous shot with the camera tracking the action, it would look cool, but the action isn't enough just to get excited about. It's no myth that 300 is considered as an art movie. There's many properties within the film that contributes to this. This is due to the fact that the story is based on the graphic novel of the same name by Frank Miller. A lot of the shots are taken straight out of the comic book, such as this one.